So should we do a menopause episode?
I mean, I guess women are only like 50% of the population. So, I mean, I suppose we could have value there.
I mean, it's kind of important, right?
Just a small part of our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do an episode on menopause. My name's Agbelusi, your strength coach with over 25 years of experience as a certified fitness professional helping women over 40. I'm with Dr. Sara Whatley, family medicine physician with a focus on integrative health, helping women over 40. So let's go deep. Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, what are some of the things that you hear? What are some of the questions that you get asked about menopause?
Well, first, I think it's always important to start at a common baseline. And I every day get asked about like what is menopause? What is perimenopause? What is menopause? What is postmenopause? So first, let's kind of give some definitions of that. So we all kind of know what puberty is, right? We're living our best life up until puberty. Hormones are really rising, and then that triggers the menstrual cycle for women. And then that's going to go on for 40 years ish, 35, 40 years. And what menopause is the pause of menstruation, if we're really getting to the brass tacks. And what that looks like clinically is 12 months without a menstrual cycle. So whether you're testing and doing labs or having symptoms or not, that's clinically what menopause is. Once we've gone past those 12 months, you are now considered postmenopausal, after menopause. Now, in that time frame, perimenopause is just shifts in your hormones, and they're slowly decreasing over time. Now, that can start late 30s, early 40s, but every woman in her 40s is in some stage of perimenopause. It doesn't have to mean that that's terrible. You may or may not have symptoms. Your cycles may not be shifting, but internally, those things are changing. So we have puberty. You start your cycle. If all goes well, it's regular, once a month, and everything is fabulous. And then in your 40s, hormones are slowly going down until they stop and we no longer have a cycle. 12 months after that, you are postmenopausal.
Interesting. When I see, obviously I've spent my whole entire career working with women in their 40s and beyond. But I've noticed just a huge difference and a huge differential in symptoms of women that, are different stages of menopause, pre, in it, and then post. And, there seems to be just a huge range of symptoms. Some women that I work with seem to have little or no symptoms. And I found that just, anecdotally, I don't have any like stats to back this up, but, the women that I've worked with that really start pre-symptoms, really start getting into a consistent strength routine and really stay consistent as they get into their 40s and 50s. Because I have clients that I've trained, that are in their 70s, and I've been training them since they were in their, early 50s. And their symptoms seem to maybe they were getting symptoms and they started a good routine, good strength routine, and those symptoms diminished. Some women that started training in their 30s, went all the way through their 40s into their 50s with little to no symptoms. So I always attributed it to, having a healthy lifestyle and really focusing on strength training as a foundation can really change how your body has and adapts to menopause. So maybe tell us a little bit more about why that is.
Sure, and there is truth to that. Like everything matters with regard to our foundations and our healthy lifestyle choices. Why you see such a stark difference in your clients at different stages is because of the change in hormones. So when you're going through that transition of perimenopause and hormones are decreasing, or more specifically postmenopause, we see a stark difference not only in the stats and on the studies and all of that, but feel it as women and see it in the gym, because we have so many tissues in our body that have hormone receptors. And that also might not be a well-known fact. We kind of just think like, okay, women's cycle, it's a totally separate thing. It has nothing to do with anything else. But come to find out that there's estrogen receptors in every tissue of a woman's body, our brain. So we're going to see as estrogen goes down, maybe we experience that as a little bit of memory loss. Can't quite remember that thing, but that's okay. Let's move on. Or a little bit of brain fog. And eventually we might be dealing with dementia. then we can translate that to any other tissue in the body. We're going to see changes in our hair, in our skin, in our mood, hot flashes, night sweats, energy, but also muscle and bone. And then our cardiac health as well. So all that to say that those shifts do happen. Once the shift happens, whether you have symptoms, you don't have symptoms, you seek treatment, labs, some women even out, kind of shakes out over time, and we just acclimate to our new normal. And that can be okay. That can be totally fine. And in particular, if we have some really good healthy foundations, a nourishing diet, regular exercise, good sleep, then we don't have to experience suffering. But for those women who might not have as strong of foundations, then we're going to really see that in their 50s and beyond.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about that because it's important to identify, and I really want to cue in on what you said is, we don't necessarily want to take that as like normal if there's extreme symptoms of brain fog and loss of muscle tissue, loss of bone density. Those definitely put women in that phase of life at very, very high risk, right? And so we don't necessarily want to say, well, hey, I'll just deal with these symptoms. We definitely want to have an action plan to help with that. But again, kind of to what I said about earlier is, this varying range in symptoms. Let's talk about how, obviously there's going to be the medical side and medical intervention, but let's talk about some healthy lifestyle things that can really have an impact, a positive impact on symptoms. Like what are preventative, obviously, lifestyle things that we can focus on, but also, women that are starting to experience symptoms before they look for medical intervention. What are some of the healthy lifestyle options that they can start looking into?
Sure. So topics we've talked a bit about, but sleep. Okay, so sleep will change in menopause, but if we're focusing on that and saying, okay, I'm seeing shifts, whether we're going to explore hormones or not, that's regardless. Am I getting to bed on time? Do I have good sleep hygiene? Am I taking supplements like magnesium that help me with more efficient sleep? And then nutrition and exercise. So with nutrition, we want to fuel our body with nutrient-dense foods. We live in a culture that provides a lot of fake foods, right?
So many.
It's even more important that we are focusing on protein and fiber. It's not even more important, it's imperative that even if we have those extra other foods that don't serve us, we have to have those as our baseline. And then regular exercise, whatever that looks like. If you're used to exercising, great, let's lean into it. And there's some other things we should really be doing, like focusing on strength training. If you're not used to exercising, then starting anywhere really helps. You're like, how is that walking going to help with my hot flashes? But it will, because we're telling ourselves, hey, we're going to help you with the basics, and so that we can stabilize.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important point, and something that I really want our listeners to understand is that, healthy lifestyle does have a huge impact on, how we feel across the board in all aspects, right? And again, I think, kind of back to my anecdotal, over the years, research, we'll call it, of, really observing clients is, the ones that are really proactive with their health are, of course, makes sense. Yeah, they're going to have less symptoms, right? They're going to have an easier transition time because they're doing all the things that are going to make their body feel supported and really support those positive health processes that they really need to keep their cells healthy, to keep their body functioning at a healthy level. And it is one of the reasons why I do really enjoy working with, women in their 40s and beyond, probably above all else, is because women that really do start implementing these strategies, like you said, the simple ones, the strength training, and really take it seriously, they're starting to really create this positive environment in their body that maybe they've never really focused on previously because they didn't really need to, right? Maybe like, so many positive things in youth that kind of mask maybe bad behavior, right? So now, in their 40s, they're really getting nitty gritty, like with, okay, what are the specific actions I need to take to get me healthy? And when those things are acted upon, that's where I see women in their 40s and beyond get into the absolute best shape of their lives, right? Because they attributed good shape prior to that as a part of youth. But now the positive, healthy fitness that they're in, their lifestyle that they're in, it's being supported by really good, positive habits that they've established. And that's just, it's a very rewarding process to watch, as I'm sure you, with your patients that start really implementing these positive changes, it's a great process. It's life changing. It's transformative.
Right. And it comes down to like resilience and optimization.
Oh, I like that.
And so we are going to have shifts in our hormones as we age. That is something that is going to happen. But if we have those foundations in place and we're working on them, then we have the resilience to deal with that impact. So, for example, like we're all going to probably get exposed to an illness at some point. Or maybe we're going to have an injury, a totally accidental, no one could have prevented that thing that happens. How that impacts us has so much to do with what's happened long before that injury happened or that illness happened. What are the foundations? Because then our cells have that resilience. So it's kind of like gas in the gas tank. We're going on a longer trip this time. Are we prepared? So that's the resilience part of it, is this is going to happen. Is our body prepared for that? And then the other part is optimization. So if we are going to go start off with a good foundation in our 40s or 50s, as we're going through menopause, instead of trying to do a lot of backtracking and making up for lost time, then we can say, hey, I am in this transition of my life. I'm still feeling okay. I want to keep up these healthy habits. I'll make a few adjustments. Now, how do I optimize my health, not just get through?
Yeah, I love that. Such a good little mental switch to make that can make such a big difference. So yeah, let's talk about some strategies for maybe pre, post, and obviously while women are in it. Like, what are some strategies that women can really implement during that menopause phase of their life that are going to, make it a positive transition? Because remember, this could be, as we've talked about, a transition into the healthiest years of their lives, right? So we don't want to shortcut that, and we don't want to. We do want to emphasize that statement of, menopause can be a signal of like, hey, I could be in the healthiest shape I've ever been in, the best shape I've ever been in. So let's talk about 3 steps that women can take to really help them optimize their health as they get into this phase of life.
I think a good first step is getting a good baseline. And so that can look like some diagnostics, like some blood work, an in-body scan, and a DEXA scan, like we've talked about before. It really helps us understand, where are we now? Are we already in a good place? Or do we have some work that we need to do? So data is always great to know where we're going.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great first step, getting the baseline. Second step, I'll throw in, if you as a woman over 40 have not started strength training, this is the time that is essential. Like, we can't shortcut it anymore, and we can't avoid it anymore. Strength training has to be part of that integrative health approach. And I'm sure you've talked to patients about this multiple times, of how important strength training is, because this is the time where maybe we could have gotten away with it prior to pre-40, but this is the time where we have to double down and really get into a good strength routine. And especially to support our muscle tissue and bone density. So important. So that'd be, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Just a couple days a week is a good start, as we talked about.
Right, but muscle mass matters.
Muscle mass is very important.
It's like you're making a deposit into your savings account.
Yeah.
And if you never made those deposits, when the bill comes, you're going to go, oh, shoot. And guess what? The bill will come, ladies. Okay? It's going to come in your 50s, and you're going to go, oh, no.
And the longer you wait to pay it, the more expensive it gets, right?
Exactly. So muscle mass matters. Please lift heavy things.
Yes. Very important. Okay, what's the third step? What would you say?
Okay, then the third thing is still in that movement space. So strength training is imperative, but incorporating movement every day.
Yeah.
And I say that, I don't know if we're sick of hearing that yet, but movement matters, and a body in motion stays in motion. And we're in a culture of being very stationary and not moving a lot. We even have to wear like wearables, and we have to have these goal steps per day, because that's how inactive we are. And that's just a reflection of what's going on these days, and that's okay. But we have to move. Strength training is imperative, but where are we going to go with those big muscles?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go grocery shopping. We're going to clean the house. We're going to go have fun. And we need to be able to move our body to do that.
Yeah, love that. Okay, so we're learning that menopause doesn't have to be a decline in our health, but that it can be a signal that, hey, we need to take some action, obviously, but that also, if we take that action, we could get into the best shape of our lives.
Absolutely. It's a normal thing. It doesn't have to be a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to this podcast on menopause. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about menopause or questions you'd like to hear us answer, then please comment those below.